JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 21st of June 2022. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation. It should not be considered as such and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFDbrokers.com website, and specifically the market news and analysis page, which is updated on a daily basis. So yeah, I believe you can find it quite useful. Now then guys, jumping into the chart. So we are seeing a nice little rebound here in Nikkei. This is the one that I'm going to start off with, as always. So yep, a rebound which led to a break of this steep downside resistance line taken from the high of the 9th of June. So yesterday I talked about this and I said that if we push through this downside line and we climb higher, then yes, there, of course, there's a chance for this one to drift further north. However, what I've mentioned yesterday as well, that I am kind of looking out for this barrier right here, this 26,320 and 21-22 zone, approximately around here. Although we had a nice push initially above it, we failed to stay above it. We failed to stay above that hurdle. So basically, for now, yes, one part of the kind of the whole bullish scenario is working out. We broke the downside line. We also tested that 26,321 territory. Can we now push again above that barrier and stay above it? Well, I mean, at the moment I'll just have to wait and see, because to be honest, in these market conditions, I'm careful. I'm being careful with any kind of move higher right now, because it might be seen just as a temporary correction before another possible leg of selling. The steep downside line can go now. It got violated. Let's see if this other part of the upside scenario will work out or not. But if it doesn't, don't get me wrong, excuse me guys, we're going blank there, quiet there a little bit, had to clear up my throat. So yeah, basically with the upside here, I mean, if we do stay above that 26,321 territory, I'm not saying that I'm going to become very bullish or something like that. No, we will just aim for some higher levels, initially aiming for that 21-day EMA, or maybe this 26,948 level right here, or we can round it up towards the 950. So, because then it could still drift a little bit higher. For example, if it struggles with these EMAs, we could see, you know, another decline here. So that's why we need to be very careful for now. And I would say, if you're, like I said, if you're looking for at least maybe some higher levels, then wait for a push, and would like to see the price staying above that 26,321, and then we'll just take it from there. For the downside, the same scenario, the 25,688 level. That's what I need here to see a drop below, of which, yep, in order to get a little bit more comfortable with the downside. Shanghai Composite, very quickly on that one, still is slowly grinding higher. I talked about this previously, as I said, that I'm keeping an eye on this upside line taken from the low of the 27th of April. So yeah, there is still hope for the bulls that we could see this one pushing a little bit more to the upside. However, I would actually prefer to wait for a push above this 3,356 territory, just to be a little bit more on the safe side. For the downside, for now, at this point in time, not only that I would like to see a break of this upside line, but also a drop below the 3,263 territory right here, which coincides also with the 100-day EMA here shown as green line, and is the low of the 17th of June. Now the German index DAX. So yesterday we saw a bit of a move back up. So yep, good news for the bulls, or should I say, could be good news for the bulls. The cash index currently is trading at around 13,325, 30 zone, something like that. So basically above yesterday's close. So we are climbing above this highlighted territory, back of this highlighted territory. But for me, in order, let's say, to get comfortable with maybe with the upside, I would actually prefer to wait for a a push through this area right here, the 13,750 zone, just to be a little bit more on the safe side. All this territory right here will be a tricky one for me, because in a way there are plenty of levels which could provide resistance. For example, this one, the inside swing low here of the 15th of June near the 13,358 level. We're still below it. So yep, if we climb above it again, then yeah, I mean, look, I mean, it could still travel a little bit higher, but then we're kind of running into other problems with other levels, like for example this one right here, the high of the 13th of June near the 13,650 level. So yeah, again, if you are comfortable with this, if you are comfortable, let's say, with, let's say, for example, a break of this barrier to aim higher, yes, you can do that. It's always a matter, it's always a matter of putting a careful stop loss, just in case this suddenly reverses to the downside, guys, because at the moment, still this move higher could be classed as a temporary correction before another leg of selling. Okay, so now Nasdaq 100. So Nasdaq did, well, yesterday, of course, it wasn't trading, but today it's going to be the first. I do apologize, guys, for that. Today, I mean, it's going to be the first trading day for the U.S. indices. So yeah, the cash index did push a little bit higher as well. So we're currently sitting on Nasdaq 100. We're sitting at around 11,430 territory, something above, of course, Friday's close, but still in this area, this whole area here, which I've mentioned before. So this is the this highlighted zone is the kind of the level, the interesting area that I'm keeping an eye on. However, don't get me wrong, I might readjust things here, because I think that maybe will be time for that. But let's put it this way. If you're looking for some higher levels, there is a chance, yes, to go a little bit higher here. But again, for now, this move upwards could be classed as a temporary correction, because overall, don't forget that we are still trading below this downside line taken from the high of the 4th of April. So yeah, another decline here could be possible. So in a way, this whole move up until this downside line could still be classed as a temporary correction. So don't forget that. But at the moment, from the very near term perspective, okay, so I would say if it somehow continues to balance above the Friday's high, which is around the 11,358 territory, yes, we could see maybe a bit of a push, like I said, a bit of a push north here, but we'll be very careful around this highlighted zone, which is roughly between that 11,817 and the 847 levels. If you're not really comfortable with any of this, that's that's absolutely fine, because again, this is a bit tricky, I would say here. The easier probably option is to kind of keep an eye on last week's low near the 11,037 territory. Now, a nice good drop below it would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and yeah, potentially more sellers could join in. For the upside, well, I actually already talked about the upside in the near term. About this scenario here, well, we'll just probably have to wait for a little bit longer. S&P 500, a similar story, to be honest. I mean, so yeah, also waiting for the index to open up today. So yeah, let me just adjust this downside line here. So a few levels have to be adjusted here as well. I think that this has to go, and this has to be marked here, the 3,838 level. So 38 level is a nice one to watch here if you want to consider maybe a larger correction to the upside. And the reason why I'm saying correction is, you probably understand, because we're still below some of these downside lines. If you're something a little bit more reassuring, a drop below this 3,646 territory might do the trick for a few more sellers. So yeah, this is the highlighted territory here. So yeah, I'm keeping an eye on that one in order to go for some lower levels. Now, Dxy Dollar Index, guys. So this one is, yeah, we're waiting for it to make a move here because it seems like it's coiling up. And let me just show you what I mean. So yep, we have this little downside line right here, and we have this little upside line somewhere around here. There we go. Yep, so we are basically coiling up here. That means that we are getting into a bit of a squeeze, and we want to see what's going to happen further. Will it actually break through the upper side of this little triangle pattern, or through the lower one? If we drop lower, then yeah, of course it increases the chances for a further drift south here. But again, on the bigger picture, this drift south could be classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of buying. For the upside, well, for the upside, I would say it's we need to see a break of this downside line, and if we do get that, then yeah, we will consider a move a little bit higher here, and then we'll take it from there. This level has to go, I think. Yep, definitely, and I think I need to redraw some of these new ones, so I'll recycle this line and put it right there to mark the current highest point of June, which was around the 105.79 level. The gold, so yeah, did have an attempt today to make a move above that 1840 territory. It did so, but kind of continued to trade below that 21-day EMA, and there we go. We're seeing this nice drift to the downside, and the question now here is, can we drop below this 1831 territory? Well, at the moment I'm playing the waiting game here, and if we do move below this area, then yes, I will target the 1807 level again, and then maybe lower, but just let's keep it short and simple for now. If we do drop below that 1831 territory, then yes, like I said, my next target is the 1807 again. For the upside, I'm not going to do anything until I see at least a push over this 1858 territory right here. But even then, I mean, you can see the other problem we have here is this downside line, which, you know, could still be kind of in the way here. So this short-term tentative downside resistance line taken from the high of the 8th of March. So yep, this could be in the way. However, it could be at least it could be a little bit more interesting for the bulls if we do push above this key resistance barrier at 1858. Okay, so WTI oil. Okay. Beautiful move to the downside, I would say. So yeah, we did get that nice retracement here. So after we fell below this hurdle, yesterday I removed this arrow, and instead of from here, I mean, I put it around now in this area. So if we're looking for some lower levels, well, certainly a break of this upside line is needed. We need to wait for that, and also drop below that 108.16 territory right here would be ideal. But again, as long as it remains above this upside line, there is still hope for the bulls here. We could see this one pushing back to the upside. for the upside, actually I will stick to the same level. Let me just grab this arrow. I will stick to the same level at 114.79, and yep, if we push through it, then yes, we'll go for some higher levels again, and have these obstacles here on the way, but we'll get to that point if we do climb back above this 114.79 territory. And if you remember that, I've been talking about this one for several months now. I mean, a couple of months. So this is the highest point of 2011, guys, and somehow the commodity is it does kind of respect that level. So yeah, we do get, like, it does act occasionally as a resistance and support level as well. So yeah, jumping into Litecoin, the crypto world is kind of seeing a bit of a maybe light at the end of the tunnel, but don't get me wrong, I mean, this move higher right now that we're seeing could be classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of selling, because overall, like for example looking at Litecoin, overall we're still on a decline. Currently, yes, we're testing kind of that area near the 21-day EMA, but well, we need to see a nice good push above this barrier first in order to go higher. So if we do climb above that 21-day EMA, then yes, my next target will be this downside line taken from the high of the 30th of March, and then we'll just kind of take it from there. At the moment, I'm being, like I said, very careful here, because it's currently the crypto is currently testing that 54 territory, which I spoke about previously. It previously acted as a good area of support, now it's resistance. So can we break that? Well, let's wait and see. And can we climb above that 21-day EMA as well? Well, again, let's wait and see. If we do that, then yes, my next target is this downside line. For the downside, I would say I will take a bit of a careful approach here and cautious approach, and I'll wait for a drop below the 41.66 level right here, just to be a little bit more on the safe side. That level, let me just show you what that level is. That level is the lowest point of September of 2020, guys. So good potential target. Currently is, yeah, continuing to provide support, so you can see that. So if we drop below that and stay below that, that's most important. If we stay below it, then yes, of course, this will confirm a forthcoming lower low, and potentially more sellers could join in. AUD/JPY. So okay, this one is a little bit tricky, because look, I kept on talking about this pair yesterday I talked about it, last week I talked about this pair as well, but what I said before was that as long as we stay above this upside line, there is still a chance for the bulls to join in, and more of them could join in if the pair somehow manages to stay above that 94 territory. Well, as you can see yourselves, we keep on getting these false breakouts, which don't really help us out here a little bit. I mean, look, I mean, we keep on getting these false breakouts, and it's kind of a bit of a tease here. So, and even today already, we had that push above this barrier, and again we drifted back down. So, I wouldn't really rush into any buys here yet, but if we somehow manage to stay and continue trading above the 94 territory, then yes, great, we could go for maybe some higher levels. But to be honest, if this 94 territory somehow continues to hold like it is doing right now, then maybe actually it could result in a break of this upside line. But for the downside, I would actually prefer to wait for a drop somewhere below this 92.95 territory in order to get a little bit more comfortable with the downside. USD/JPY, guys. This one is also quite interesting. We're waiting, because yesterday I talked about this one. I said that, like, look, I mean, we rebounded after we reached our target. We rebounded here and pushed higher, but we're still below this 135.58 level right here, the highlighted zone. We need that clear break above that area in order to go higher. Well, at the moment we're just observing this one, so yep, if we do push and stay above this barrier, then great, we'll go higher. But if we don't, then maybe we'll start kind of ranging here for a little bit, because in a way that could happen, and we could just kind of approach this upside line eventually, and then we could decide, you know, what to do further. But at the moment, like I said, be very cautious. Don't rush into anything, because, like I said, it could be a range trader's paradise here later on, if you do like to trade ranges. But once we kind of like clearly break through one of these highlighted territories, then yes, that's where it could become a little bit more and more exciting for one of the sides, actually. You know, so yeah, keep that in mind. USD/CHF. So another tease, another beautiful tease here, because look, I mean, the pair broke again this upside line taken from the low the 31st of March, and again it climbed back above it and stayed above it. Today we're seeing the pair continuing to trade above this upside line. Can this be kind of a good area for a rebound? Yes, it could. It could be. It could be a nice little kind of you know, gauge here for if you're looking for some higher levels. But I would say if you wanna, oh, not this one, sorry. Let me just bring it back here. If you wanna go for some higher levels, I would say this is the point where I'll have to just wait maybe for a push somewhere above the 0.9764 territory. Again, to be honest, this level is not really ideal for me, but if we do see, let's say, a rebound from this upside line, I want to see if this is gonna, you know, provide some sort of resistance initially, because it's not far from that 21-day EMA as well, and previously this level acted as a good area of resistance and support. So yes, it got kind of, you know, killed off here on this slide, on this huge slide on the 16th of June. But yeah, let's wait and see, because another thing that I wanted to kind of, you know, to kind of make your lives complicated in this one, because although we have, and we're still trading this above this upside line, on this, let's say, picture here, we are forming something of a potential maybe bearish pennant or bearish flag. Again, it's not perfect yet. So if that is the case, then of course we need to wait for a drop, and for me, I would like to wait for a drop below this hurdle, this 0.9620 zone right here, just to be a little bit more on the safe side. That's the lowest point of last week. So a nice good drop below this, then yep, this may confirm this idea of a bearish flag here. But again, like I said, the other problem is this upside line, which is still doing its job. So that's why for now I don't like this. I mean, if you do want to risk something here, I mean, on this, at this point here, you can, but the only thing is it always comes back to kind of, you know, the same risk management. So if you do like a scenario here, for example, for the upside, risk something that you can afford to lose in case this drops lower here, or let's say you can put your stop loss somewhere around here. But again, this is up to you guys. I mean, don't list it, or because it could still go lower. And if you're thinking, let's say, if this one maybe, you know what, this is going to be a bearish kind of, you know, bearish trade here, it could be as well. But again, let's say, what if it rebounds here from this upside line? So, you know, you can get caught out somewhere here. So always guys, as you probably know yourselves, you know, always risk only something that you can afford to lose, because, you know, this is the market, and it always, well, not always, but sorry, it does like to go against us sometimes. GBP CAD, guys, there we go, another one interesting, and I haven't looked at this one for quite a while. Let me refresh the chart here. So before kind of, let's say, starting to draw anything here, one thing that you can probably clearly see what's happening right now is, after we had this nice strong move here on the 16th of June to the upside, the next following days here have been on a bit of a corrective move. So what does that mean? That means that this could be forming a possible bullish flag here. Look at this. I mean, this is kind of picture perfect, I would say. However, this picture perfect can continue drifting lower, and for some time, yes, it is currently holding near this, or I should say above this 21-day EMA. Okay, that's great, but can it go higher? Well, this is the point where I am gonna stick to my rule. And although this could be a bullish flag, I would still prefer to wait for a push above the high of this, let's say, or this recent high, this 1.60. 08 territory right here, and if we do clear that level, then yes, I'll go further north and I'll go for some higher levels here, so like the highest point of May, or some of these EMAs. For the downside, well, obviously the more comfortable level for me is this one, the 1.5485, but I get it. I mean, this could be a little bit of a wait here, so a waiting game, so that's why maybe I would start looking at some lower levels if we do drop below this 1.5729 zone. EURUSD, guys, this one's quite interesting as well, because as you can see yourselves, we are still hanging above this upside line, so it's great for the bulls, or should I say could be great for the bulls, but as I mentioned before, I will stick to my rule and I'll stick to my kind of analysis here. In order for me to get comfortable with higher levels, I would prefer to wait for a push above this 1.6842 zone. Any area right here above this upside line but below this this barrier is going to be a tricky one for me, so that's why I'm just going to leave it here. However, if we start breaking this upside line and we drop below maybe yesterday's low somewhere around here, which is around the 1.6541, then I'm gonna aim lower, but I'm gonna be very careful, because in a way any move to the downside here also could be as the same as into the upside to the downside. I mean, it could be a false breakout here. It could drift a little bit lower, but by the end of the day, kind of it could reverse back up and and climb back above this upside line. We have seen these scenarios happening, like recently. I think it was EUROCAD or EUROCHF, I think, as well. No, I think it was more EUROCAD, yeah. And yeah, like I said, it could quickly catch you here, so keep that in mind all the time. That certain things like that could happen. So protect yourselves. Either take a smaller profit, or have a stop loss. Once you're, let's say, in profit, take put your stop loss in break even. At least this way you can protect yourself from any losses. And finally, your USD. So yeah, again, as I said before, as I said yesterday, I'm just observing this one for now, because neither of my levels are getting violated yet. So yeah, for the upside, I need to see at least a push above this 1.0636 territory. For the downside, I would like to see a drop below this 1.0460 territory right here, at least. Then I could go for this target, the 1.0340, and if that gets cleared now, guess what? I mean, potentially more sellers could join in. So yeah, guys, that was a quick wrap up here of a quick review of some of these instruments. Yep, some of them we looked at yesterday, some new ones. I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for joining in and watching this one till the end. I really appreciate that, guys. So yep, I hope you'll have a fantastic trading day today. Be very careful. Like I said, today the US will open up, and yep, we might see maybe a bit of volatility. So keep that in mind as well, and have your stop loss in place. And if you'll have that, everything will be fine. So thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.